On President Bukele's offer to jail incarcerated Americans in El Salvador, is that something you'd like to see happen? And separately, there have been accounts of the U.S. exemptions on President Trump's aid freeze not working, resulting in clinics for HIV medication in Africa shutting down, the suspension of demining in Cambodia, and challenges for the malaria prevention program, PMI. Are these waiver problems something you're seeing and looking to address? Thank you.
Yeah. Let me address the first one. That's an offer President Bukele made. Obviously, we'll have to study it on our end. There are obviously legalities involved. We have a constitution. We have all sorts of things. But it's a very generous offer. No one's ever made an offer like that. And to outsource at a fraction of the cost, at least some of the most dangerous and violent criminals that we have in the United States. But obviously, the administration will have to make a decision. I raised it yesterday because it's an incredible offer and an unprecedented one. On the second point, look, we froze foreign aid so that we can review those programs. The waiver process exists so that we can review those programs. Today, here, we've issued waivers for programs that make all the sense in the world. They make America safer. They make America stronger because the programs we've issued a waiver for are helping our trusted partners intercept and stop drugs and terrorists from coming into the United States. But I issued a blanket waiver that said if this is life-saving programs, okay, if it's providing food or medicine or anything that is saving lives and is immediate and urgent, you're not included in the freeze. I don't know how much more clear we can be than that. And I would say if some organization is receiving funds from the United States and does not know how to apply a waiver, then I have real questions about the competence of that organization. Or I wonder whether they're deliberately sabotaging it for purposes of making a political point. I want to repeat what I've said. I have long supported foreign aid. I continue to support foreign aid. But foreign aid is not charity. It exists for the purpose of advancing the national interest of the United States. Every dollar we will spend, as long as I'm Secretary of State, and as long as President Trump is in the White House, is going to be a dollar that's advancing our national interest. And you see this here today. These are programs that work. This is the kind of foreign aid we need to do. And there are programs that we have questions about that do not further the national interest, and they should be eliminated. And then there are those we need to learn more about. But we have a blanket waiver. It's been out for a week. And anybody who tells you they don't understand it, let me repeat it in very simple words. If it saves lives, if it's emergency life-saving aid, food, medicine, whatever, they have a waiver. I don't know how much clearer we can be. And if they're not applying it, then maybe they're not a very good organization, and maybe it shouldn't be getting money at all.
You talk about the United States being a strong partner. China, of course, is doing aid projects around the world. When you have these drastic changes, what does it do to American soft power? Is there a question about the U.S. using leverage, perhaps because some of these programs are there? And also, you mentioned there are, of course, legalities involved in sending prisoners overseas. Could you explain that? Obviously, there's the Constitution. What type of human rights protections would prisoners have if they're being sent overseas? Is that a question that you raised with President Bukele? And Mr. President, you're, of course, a development expert. How do you feel about the cuts in U.S. assistance or the changes in U.S. assistance, and how will this change worldwide and change with the competition with China? Thank you.
Well, let me just answer the first question. The second question is, again, President Bukele made an offer. We communicated it to the public. He communicated it to the public. We'll have to study it and see how something like that could even be applied. On the first question about aid, no one's talking. This is a 90-day freeze through which it allows us now to review programs. You know, before we did the freeze, we couldn't find out anything about some of these programs. And USAID in particular, they refused to tell us anything. We won't tell you what the money's going to, where the money's for, who has it, which contractor it's been. You know, in some cases it goes through 4 different contractors before it reaches the intended recipient. These are not my numbers. These are USAID's number. In some cases with USAID, 10, 12, 13%, maybe less of the money was actually reaching the recipient, and the rest was going into the overhead and the bureaucracy. This isn't my money. This is taxpayer money. So we're not going to eliminate foreign aid. We're going to have foreign aid that makes sense. We're going to have foreign aid that works. We're going to have foreign aid that furthers the national interest. We're going to have foreign aid that benefits our trusted partners and our allies. I am here today, we've issued a waiver today, because in Costa Rica we have a trusted partner and an ally who has proven that they have taken aid from the United States and used it to fix a problem, to help us, to do it in a way that actually helps the United States. They're stopping drugs. They're stopping criminals. They're identifying terrorists. This is foreign aid that furthers the national interest. Other programs we have questions about. And But we've also issued waivers because we don't want anybody see anybody die or anybody be harmed in the short term. But we're going to conduct a review, and we are going to have foreign aid in this country that is going to further the national interest of the United States. If it doesn't make us stronger or more prosperous or more secure, we aren't going to spend taxpayer money on it. We owe that to the people of our country.